the bottom of it with your host, Joshua Moriarty.
G'day, how's it going? Welcome back to the bottom of it, episode 38 today. How about that? Kicking ass, kicking goals, getting there. Always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for tuning in. Now, no messing about today. I think I say that quite often every week, actually, because I just like to get to the bottom of it, right to the point. Today's episode is with DJ Fitchie AKA Mu, who is the production mastermind behind New Zealand band Fat Freddy's Drop. Now, for those who don't know, Fat Freddy's Drop, or Freddy's as I guess they're probably more commonly known as to the fans and the people who love it, they're a 7-piece band, with Mu being the sort of badass boss up the back, laying down all the beats and the bass lines from his MPC. They have a 3-part horn section who are phenomenal, sort of headed by Toby Lang, who's one of New Zealand's finest jazz musicians. There's Dallas on vocals, who has a beautiful soul voice, very laid back and poignant, and sort of, yeah, he's got the magic tone. And then the band's rounded out by Ian, who plays keys, occasional bass lines, and then Tihi on guitar. Now the band is in their 20th year. I remember their early shows back in Wellington when I just finished high school. They had a buzz going right away when they started performing, but it wasn't until their first record, based on a true story, came out in 2005 that they really started to get that international recognition and started making the touring missions to Europe and other places in the world. Now since then they've put out another 3 records, all of which I think are great. They like to take their time and test out new songs live. There's sort of always a bit of time in between records, and even at the show I went to a few weeks back, they played a handful of new songs, and I really enjoyed seeing that process of playing songs live to kind of work them out in action. Now there's a strong sort of dub and reggae influence, but they have these deep house jams and sort of electronic elements that twist and weave in these really cool and interesting directions, and the horn parts just have these freaky moments. It's a wonderful thing to watch. So yes, Mu and I sat down at the bar in his hotel in the morning after they'd finished their 3 sold-out shows at the Forum in Melbourne. We had a chat about all the fancy new music-making technology. We talked about how Freddy's have always done things quite fiercely independently and have been the masters of their own musical destiny. We talk about not getting stale and how to know when your shit is getting whacked. And we had a good old chin waggle. Lots in there for you to enjoy. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Mu from Fat Freddy's Drop. Enjoy. So what, you thought you'd left it at the club or something, or?
I thought I left it at the club, and then, but yeah.
Where were you DJing?
I don't actually know. What was the club called? Sweet Angel.
Sweet Angel.
It was nice, actually. It was really nice sound system in there.
Yeah.
It was a small place. It was probably, dance floor was probably half the size of this room here.
Do you do a lot of DJing?
Not anymore, but
Not anymore.
we still buy a lot of records.
Yeah. Were you playing records?
I wasn't in this case, but because I didn't actually know. I didn't know until quite late that we had a gig.
Yeah, okay.
But I had some USB sticks on me, so
It's just so much easier with the memory sticks, isn't it?
yeah. I prefer to DJ with vinyl, but
Yeah. Was that how you started out doing
yeah.
DJing? Yeah.
Yeah, I started off in student radio, and then
What was the student radio again back in Wellington?
Wellington was radioactive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
So I kind of started there, and that was kind of late 80s, early 90s, and then kind of club scene in Wellington started to pick up, and then slowly moved into working out that I could actually make a living out of these records that I was buying.
Yeah. Were you sampling those records as well?
Not initially, but probably started getting into production more at the end of the 90s. And
how would you do it? How was it working back then? Because you had the MPC. Are you still using the MPC?
I'm still using the MPC. I'm now shifting into the Echo. I've had quite a big release recently. Their new series of MPCs are amazing.
Yeah.
And so I picked up a couple of those and slowly moving everything from the old world to the new world.
Yeah.
Just slowly.
That was kind of a question that I was interested in. Yeah, sort of the change in technology, because it's been 20 years that you guys have been a band now, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been an advocate for the old 16-bit 2000, the MPC 2000 XL.
Yeah.
But since I've been transferring some of the songs over to this new sampler, which I think can output at maybe even 96K if you want. But
Okay.
I've been just sending it out 48K and 24-bit.
Uh-huh.
And after being on the road with them a little bit, listening to them going, they sound great.
Yeah.
At that kind of quality,
Yeah,
There is a bit of a difference, so it's quite exciting actually. I'm getting.
And then what back then though? How did it work? I never knew how that you would make samples back sort of late 90s. I mean, I know Pro Tools and things were going on as well, but for people like yourself,
my first guy I hooked up with, he had an MPC 3000, one of the really early ones. So that's kind of how my introduction to sampling was still an MPC.
yeah.
And I'm still using them, but that was the 3000 had been out for a while.
And what do you just like plug the record into it and then just hit record from the start of the bit that you want to sample?
Yeah, you just work out which bit you need, and there's a little bit of, in those days, there's definitely a bit of fiddling around with getting the record in the right place, and then
Yeah.
because you didn't actually have. I've also got a 60, which I bought later on, which is something ridiculous, like 2 seconds sample time.
Okay.
So you have to be pretty picky about what you. But just drop the record, take a little snippet, and then see what you can do with it.
And so with making, new beats and new songs and things these days, what's the sort of process now? I mean, I'm sure it varies.
Yeah, it does vary, but to be honest, my process hasn't changed at all. I still love starting with a sample. Mm-hmm. I think there's still a lot of merit in sampling. Just the way I sampled, I won't sample a riff, or I'll sample a weird sound or a note or a little chunk, and with always the view to try and make it my own and use a lot of filtering. So pretty much it's unrecognisable. It's unrecognisable by.
So you're not paying any royalties on these ones?
No. I just you can make it metal. I think there's a sample on every record.
Yeah, of course.
Whether it's a hi-hat that you've tuned down 1,000,000%, and if you turn it into you turn it into sound like a synth if you know what you're doing. I just find there's just a lot more vibe in starting with a sample, and then because I know eventually I'm going to have a number of people that are going to play on it.
Yeah.
And add more acoustic and real performance. So it's not. I don't really have a problem there.
But does it generally start with you making some sort of loop or?
Yeah, I'll come up with. Because I'm always just making beats. This is what I love doing. So I'll turn up to the studio or up to rehearsal. I'll have an idea of I've made a beat recently that might suit Freddy's and drop it, and it'll be something really simple. It'll just be like a nice little 2-bar, 4-bar loop with a couple of sounds in it, and then
just
Toby or Dallas or that's great. And then we'll just start having a jam on it and take it a lot further.
Do you do rehearsal with everybody, or you keep it a little bit? Bit smaller?
I mean, we're rehearsing with the view to go out.
But for the writing sessions, does it still sort of work with everybody?
Yeah. What happens is it's all in to get at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that might be a few. I'll have a few beats lined up and in the computer waiting, and we'll all jam on it for literally hours.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of a smaller team of usually Ian and a keyboard player, Toby and Dallas, and 3 or 4 of us will sift through. And
are you recording those jams like what on?
Yeah,
just on an iPhone or on
no, multi-track properly. Yeah.
You're at that level.
Yeah, slowly over the years we've built up a really flash studio. So we've got a really great space back home where we live. It's doubles as a great rehearsal space as well as a studio.
Is everyone living in Wellington?
Everyone except for Scott, saxophone player.
Yeah.
He's 4 hours up the road.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But he comes down for rehearsals and jams, and it's not so much a problem.
And is it sort of pretty full time at the moment? Like it's
Yeah, it feels like it. But you know, it is a very seasonal job. You know, after this Australian tour, we won't do another concert until November. So
yeah, okay. Where's that one going to be?
we've got 2 big European tours, one in November and then one in March. So and then we'll be back here because that will be a new album release tour. So
yeah, you guys said that the other night. So near the end of the year, it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
It blows me away. I mean, back home people are just sick of us, but you get to Europe, and like here we've sold out, and the European shows just get bigger and bigger. And, it just feels like, to be honest, in Europe, to me, it feels like we were in New Zealand 5 years ago, 8 years ago.
And how often are you heading over there?
Twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really
Yeah.
you guys are still
Yeah, you got to.
yeah, well you do.
You got to keep that momentum up. And often it's July, August, more of a festival run, and then our own headline show will go back in like October, November. But no festival run this year. We'll just head back after this Australian tour and get into the studio, and our album's kind of like 60%, 70% there. There's lots of music. It's really just tying Dallas to the studio, not letting him leave until he's and probably maybe one or two songs short. But
you guys must be good at it by now, though, knowing how to work everyone's.
I love the recording process. You know,
but who needs the most time? Who needs a push and a shove at certain times?
Sure, yeah, and you can't. And the thing is, you can't push too hard, but you just got to wait for the good timing and massage. I like the massage is probably a better word than push.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, music does need a lot of patience and space.
Yeah,
I feel
it's a busy world. You know, I've managed just to get. I have one child, and I've just sent her out into the world. She's second year at university. Finally left the roost, and me and my wife are enjoying our house to ourselves. But the rest of the band, their children are much younger, and so yeah, they're just life's busy, you know. So you just got to juggle the music and the family.
Yeah,
and the road,
and
and the studio.
Yeah, well, it's such
money.
a blessing to be able to do it, but it always comes with a lot of sacrifice in so many ways, doesn't it? You know, and you're
like I said, the other guys it's probably a bit more difficult, but I feel very blessed to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
I love my job. I wouldn't trade it for any other, and especially enjoying it at the moment. There's so much good technology coming out that's making music and making beats so much fun.
What sort of things are you getting into?
I've kind of really drum machines and samples have always been my kind of shtick, but I've really developed an interest in analog synthesizers, and they're always been a bit expensive to buy the original, but a lot of the original companies like Roland are now reissuing a lot of their classic synthesizers in a boutique.
Yeah, I've been noticing that, and I'm sure they're just as good as they are, or probably better.
Yeah, well, they're certainly more user friendly because they're talking the language of MIDI now. Where a lot of these keyboards that I'm talking about that are getting reissued were only
they'd just be wonky and get out of tune, and so many issues with them, wasn't it?
Totally, yeah. So that kind of it's just fun, and it's so you go back 5 years ago to pick up those kind of synthesizers, just people just trying to make too much money off them on the internet, whereas now these reissues are actually at an affordable price, you know.
Yeah, well, it's really just for rich collectors who are buying the original ones these days, isn't it? They're not really... Oh, they have them in their studios to kind of show off, but as soon as you go to use them, they're fucking useless half the time. I remember we were at a studio even just with they had a real Mellotron, we tried recording with it, and then we just ended up using the Nord one through a speaker, and it sounded way better anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, your music's proliferating and kind of connecting with so many more people. Do you have an idea, like, do you understand what it is that you're doing? Do you sort of start to change it once you see people reacting in certain ways, or you just stay true to...
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing ever too premeditated about anything that we do in regards to how we write music, the flavour of the music that we write. But as far as getting a perspective on what it's doing to people was... The only connection really is the live shows, and that's such a good... touring's quite hard work, but it is that 2 and a bit hours on stage that is so much fun, and still so much fun that...
Yeah.
And that connection is what keeps coming back, and that really is the only, for me anyway, the gauge of what we're doing is okay or...
People were going crazy. I was there on Saturday night. It was... wild.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
It was absolutely...
The first show was great, and then we were really happy with the first show. The second show was even better. That was a Saturday, and then last night there was moments of just... We actually had twice in the set, and it never happens, where we lost power on stage.
Right.
Right in the middle of... first one was in the middle of the second song, Sings and Arrows, right on the beat, right on the one. Just went, and the whole system, the whole room went down, and then
there's a magic tension that gets created.
Yeah,
in those
and
moments.
that's exactly what happened. That's exactly. And we'd been out in the DJing the previous night after the second show, so we were a bit dusty, to be honest. And that was actually a good wake up. Okay, let's wake up. We got to, and but then it happened again, and that happened just towards the end of Sings and Arrows, the second song, and the third song was Blackbird.
Yeah.
So we came back with Blackbird and thought, okay, we'll
start the next song.
Yeah, start the next song. There's no point in... and then we're back up and running and feeling all right, and then it happened again. But and then they worked it out, and I'm not too sure what actually happened, but...
I guess if it's near the start, it's not so bad because you sort of haven't quite picked up the full momentum.
But the audience just didn't... they were very... Yeah, there wasn't a problem. They stayed there with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'm pretty sure if it happened again, we might have been staying in.
Once, 3 times is too many. But I do like that. There's an amazing build of tension and energy that happens in those sorts of mistakes.
And I suppose that's a good sign too. I mean, our audience, they weren't hostile.
No, definitely not. It just seems like if you just keep doing what you're doing, everyone who comes to the show is going to tell... I mean, me and my friends who went or walked away just raving about it, and we're all going to tell more people, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
That's obviously what's happening, especially in Europe. And just because it's a numbers thing over there, I think there's so many places you can play. You can just drive, when we tour Europe, it's on sleeper buses. Basically... The bus is your home for...
It must be pretty comfy these days, the touring thing for you guys.
Yeah, we make it... we're not spring chickens anymore. We're kind of realistic. We don't load up. We don't load up. Younger bands will just forego the comfort.
Was it like that when you first started going over there, though?
Yeah. We made no money. We'd go there for sleep on couches and bed down on friends. Couches and... make no money, but it was just good planning and persistence, and then it just slowly started to turn, and then.
Yeah, I think if you feel something happening, then you're willing to keep working at it, because there is when you're on stage, the energy that's being created in the crowd, and it makes it worth it. Yeah. Did you ever think of moving over there, you guys, or has it ever been on the card?
I think we kind of worked out pretty quickly that. One place that we tried to get to work was America, and we worked out that if you want to do America and you want to do it properly, you do need to live there.
Yes.
which we just we actually we gave up on America, and then we kind of were too far in with our careers and too rooted to home to uplift everyone.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of you as well.
Seven core members.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I also feel like, I imagine New Zealand's such a huge influence just on the feeling and everything of the band as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a much slower pace of life, but yeah, I think we get the best of both worlds. We get to live in that in that world, and then get to jump on a plane every now and then and get the excitement of the big cities. And
there's something nice about finishing the tour and going back somewhere.
Yeah.
Relaxing, isn't it? It's kind of huge part of it. Is there? What keeps you, like, what haven't you done yet? Is there another record you want to make? Is there other projects you want to do? You guys seem like, even just outside of Fat Freddy's for yourself, is there?
We all just got when we, like I said earlier, everyone's busy, but when we do manage to snatch those moments for a writing session or a rehearsal, but mostly a writing session, they're always just so much fun, and they still are. And we just know, I think, even if it's just more subconscious, that there's just more writing to be done, and there's more jams to be had, and we'll just keep on going until we think. We're pretty good at self-analysing, I think, and I think we'll know if it's getting whack, and then we'll go find something else to do. But at the moment, it's still fun, and I think we're still hopefully managing to keep it fresh enough. And
I think so, but that is a really important thing, because we've all over the years seen bands who have gotten whack, and you're like, why are they still?
Yeah.
But I guess a lot of it's just because you want to keep hanging out with your good friends making music. And
I think, speak for a lot of those bands who have maybe lost their way. They're probably locked into a business model of a label, or signing to a major label. So their motives for doing things are probably way different to.
You don't have those sorts of pressures.
We've always maintained we're not signed to any majors. We run our own business, and we run it with there's seven members in the band. They all have kids, and we run it to suit everybody, and that's kind of say something towards the longevity of how long we've been around. And
for sure,
because we just kind of direct ourselves and work so it suits everybody and it works for us.
Do you have a sort of musical ethos or ethic or something that you always try and put into whatever it is that you create?
Just there's no official mantra or anything, but it's just like I said earlier, just being good, being fresh, and just being positive, and like lyrically, a lot of the music, the lyrics side of it is totally, that's Dale's, that's his department, but we'll lay down a bunch of music, and then he'll take a vibe from that music, and then go away and start putting words to it, and so that there's always that in mind, that trying to create good vibes within the music, and without being cheesy,
Yeah, definitely. Are you listening to a lot of new music? Like you say, you're still collecting.
Yeah, I still buy a lot of. I kind of buy a lot of music that does not sound anything like Freddy's, really. A lot of.
That's how it needs to be. Sometimes.
Yeah, kind of like a lot of left field electronic music, a lot of weird house music, and I kind of like the tempo of house, and
that's
kind of more minimal, and the weirder the better for me.
That was an element that wasn't really there so much on the first record by you guys, right? And it feels like as it's progressed.
Yeah, as it's progressed, and certainly live, because Ian's keyboard player is probably a big part of why I've gone towards the synthesizers, is what he's been doing lately. There's a big thing that's been happening in sort of the last couple of years of going back to step sequencing with the synthesizers, and I've been watching what Ian's been doing with that stuff, and I've been really digging that. So I think it's just been a natural push in that direction. And Dallas, the singer, he loves it's as long as it's soulful, we're quite up for the electronic side of the music,
Yeah, some of those jams live, they go super deep.
Yeah.
But then even on the records as well, I've started to they just shift and twist and turn. And
that's what, I suppose that's what you got to keep looking for, those, places to go, not be stale.
Yeah, well, I think that is part of what keeps you wanting to continue to write and create, isn't it? It's just finding those things that you didn't know that you could get away with or were capable of doing sometimes. And
there's just so much music out there now. So many people, which is a good thing. I mean, because of the technology and the people, it's probably 30% of the music that's on the radio right now was probably made on an iPad.
Yes.
Not exactly, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's getting like that.
The production values are getting a bit loose, so you've got to have some confidence in what you're doing and that recording things properly and doing it, carrying some of those values from the old school are still a good thing.
I think that's very important, yeah. I mean, it seems some people are getting really, really good at producing music, but sometimes the song just isn't there in the same way. I've noticed, it's very easy to make the sounds, but can lack the spirit.
Yeah.
Are you I like to get into the sort of philosophy of humanity. Are you an optimistic or pessimistic person when it comes to sort of the events of today or where we're heading as a species?
Not really. I mean, I have a very very intelligent and philosophical wife who keeps me in check. And keeps me abreast of what I should really know, but I'm just pretty simple. I'm just so deep in the music that I'm really just. But yeah, I'm all about being a good human and doing my bit to kind of help this planet along a wee bit, for sure. And that's thanks. Like I said, I basically live with an urban hippie, so it's great. Hope she doesn't listen to this.
I'll make sure I say a warning at the start. Yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting time at the moment with every sort of tragedy just being blown up into everyone's faces, and it can become
what happened in New Zealand. It's just horrendous, and it's just I don't know what you can do. I mean, listening to all the recent news about it, it's just people could you have anticipated something like this? Could we have been more prepared? But it's like I don't think you can.
I don't think you can. There's always going to be
crazy people are going to do crazy.
Yeah,
things. And it's more about trying to work out why these people are that type of crazy, and that's probably getting more to the root of the problem.
That definitely, it's always a sort of mental health issue above anything else. And it seems to me that's, more than we can blame religion and crazy ideologies and things like that, but you're only ever going to do something like that if you're mentally unwell, aren't you? Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people who are thinking those awful thoughts, but it's, you're possibly right, it's the one that actually are suffering from some mental health or actually go through with it. And, but it's a horrendous thing that's happened, and it has happened now. And the one positive thing that I'd like to see that would come out of it is that I do believe that New Zealand is more racist more of a racist country than it likes itself to believe, and this may actually get the conversation out of the shadows and into.
It's awful that it takes that sometimes.
I know,
but it does help things
And
along
I
the
think,
way.
I think there's certainly a veneer in New Zealand of how multicultural we are. And, you know, I grew up and was believing that it was the fact, and then when I was lucky enough to start touring, and would get to places like London and go, this is a multicultural place. This is, you know, I think it'll be good for New Zealand to well, hopefully there's a good side to this awful thing that's happened. Is that
Of course.
there's a good conversation that goes down, and there's some, you know, make some improvements. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we've just sort of, you know, I lived in Wellington for 20 years, moved away 15 years ago, and you definitely leave believing that it's one of the great countries, and the more time you spend away, you sort of read good articles and hear good things and meet good people, and you start to ignore the fact that it also has problems like everywhere else, and it's not this sort of super clean, happy, perfect place.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm proud of my,
Absolutely,
I'm
of
proud of
course,
my
same,
nation, and,
yeah.
but it's not. Maybe like we just said, it's not as green and as cool as we may think.
Yeah, I know. Do you what do you do when you're not doing music?
I play golf.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any good?
Yeah, I've got a single-figure handicap, so but I haven't been playing much lately. But I've been too busy doing music. But
I'm always interested in what people are doing when they're not making
Yeah,
tunes. It's not most of the people I interview don't really have hobbies, to be honest. It's like collecting synthesizers is their hobby. Or
yeah, but I do getting some fresh air and walk around a golf course is a good thing.
How's
But,
your Zen levels when you're on the game?
Uh,
It's a big part of it, isn't it?
It's a big part of playing golf, actually, and it's just you just got to focus intently for about 5 seconds, and then if you make a bad shot, move on.
I just can't even. I've tried numerous times and I can't even hit the ball. I find the whole thing impossible. What song do you never need to hear ever again?
Oh,
I think for me it's Eye of the Tiger.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. There would be something in that. Certainly.
And maybe Living on a Prayer as well by Bon Jovi. I could do without hearing that ever again. Reminds
I
me
think
of,
we're on the same page.
makes
The
me-
80s was such a good time. There's some good music, but I think it's also a place where you'll find the worst.
There's just a funny thing that happens as well where because a bad song gets played a lot and it becomes immortalized in some way, people think that they like it, but I don't know if they actually do. It's just because they know it.
I'm just trying to think of something that would beat Eye of the Tiger, but I think you hit it. I think you had it on the nail.
Yeah, if you never heard it ever again, it would be,
Yeah.
you'd be totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny one with... the other one I like to ask is who is the worst band for you? But some people don't like to name names. Do you find yourself with that sort of frustration at terrible music where you raise your voice or yell to the person next to you in your band in the tour van or...
No, if some bad music is in my environment at any particular time, I generally don't actually draw my attention to the person who made it. It's actually to the people that are responsible for it to being aired in the room. It's probably like, if I walk into a restaurant and there's some awful music, I won't blame the person who made the music. I usually just blame the restaurant.
That's an interesting way to think about it, because I guess the people making it more often than not are doing their best, or at least think they're being honest with what they're creating. It's kind of just an industry that's built around making stuff famous that sometimes is lacking in heart.
Yeah, well, that's, like I said earlier, that they're signed to a major label, and that's what they've been told, that you need to make something like this. Because those guys down there did that, and look how much money they made. And
Have you had any sort of brushes with anything like that, or experiences?
No, not for a lot. In the early days, to go back 10 years ago, maybe there was some of the major labels in New Zealand, Sony, and that came knocking, but we just politely, so we weren't interested. I think we were more than anything. Our independence was really important to us, just because I think we had a good team right from the beginning. My wife is the manager, and she's
been the manager the whole time as well.
Yeah, and
cool.
Everyone in the band, everyone's, I'm pretty proud of it. They're all pretty smart guys and we all get on well enough to collectively come up with the right decisions. And we also all want, if you want to learn about the music business, you won't learn anything if you just sign to a major label, because you're just handing everything over to the major label. They make all the decisions for you. You get told what your cut is, and you'll never know really what the cut was. And you won't learn anything.
You guys sort of were an indie, doing it all yourselves very early on, when it was probably a lot more difficult than it is now in a way. I mean, things have changed a lot in 20 years, haven't they?
But I think all the moves that we've made have we just got lucky, have all worked out for us, I reckon, because I think right now the music business is
it's wild.
It's out there.
It's cowboys.
It's cowboys, and no one knows what's happening next.
Nah, they don't.
So you're way better to be independent and able to jump and manoeuvre quickly, however you want. If you're locked into some deal or some agreement with a label, you can't move quickly. You can't just.
There's also just certain collections of people just make the right music that just resonates with a whole bunch, and you guys have just done that. You have, though, you know that because you're turning up to your gigs and you're seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas's voice is just, he's one of a kind, so that really resonates with people as well. It's not luck, I wouldn't say, but there's just this magical thing that happens with a certain combination of people.
Yeah, I think we don't talk about it much more, but I think we know there's some sort of magic when we all play together, and it's kind of one of those things we never talk about it, we'll just keep on doing it.
Yeah, don't need to analyze it too much. Leave that for people like myself. Did you study jazz like a lot of the other guys?
No, I really just no formal. I did go to Polytech in 1993 just to get a bit more of an engineering background. There was a good. It was actually the inaugural year of this Polytech course in Greymouth.
Okay.
Of all places, one of the smallest places in New Zealand, was having an audio engineering music production course. I don't know why they were doing it, but I jumped on it, and it was run by a really good guy, and I kind of, off the back of that, became the production manager at Radioactive the next year, just running their studio, recording their ads, and so my kind of introduction is more being on a technical angle and life, and the DJing. More importantly, I think the DJing was. I had a fairly busy kind of few years of DJing around the country before we started Freddy's, and yeah.
Well, I think especially with DJing, you can really learn to appreciate what makes people dance and what it is that they want to hear.
And I was a slightly not militant DJ, but I was because I think I came out of student radio, and student radio was a good era. I really took it upon myself to be more about playing quality music rather than what. Yeah, you have to keep the dance floor going, but my
you want
ethos,
to challenge
my
people?
ethos was to deliver it with decent music, and a slightly less obvious version of and that's always been my kind of.
Still
thing.
The same now when you're DJing the other night?
Yeah, I'm happy to lose the dance floor.
Great. You've got to take some risks, don't you? That's sort of how you learn what songs, because sometimes it can go either way. Like the song you play might just make people go mental.
Yeah, oops, that didn't work. Okay, and then you got to wear that and get them back.
But I think even with, your show the other night, did you play two or three new songs in a row after you played?
Yeah, the middle was
yeah.
There was
And you're always doing that?
Three.
Throughout the years, you've always sort of introduced new songs.
Yeah.
In your live show.
It's got harder to do.
I would imagine, yeah.
Because as the shows get bigger, there's definitely more of a. You feel responsible. There's an obligation to deliver a nice tight show for a large number of people. We're not back in the Matterhorn having a jam for 3 hours, playing self-indulgent jazz. It has got harder, but it was still. The idea is, and sometimes how we achieve that is actually turning some of our original tunes inside out. Mm-hmm. And towards the end of the set, we'll pick up the tempo and have some more sort of improvised sections of a tune, and that's kind of for us where we kind of stretch out and.
Well, you need things that keep you. Yeah, that keep you pushing or being excited or.
We've kind of ended our sets for years with Shiverman, but it's never the same version, and it always starts off on a jam. It's usually the other way around. We'll normally get the song out in the first 3/4 and then have a jam on the end, but Shiverman always starts off. No one knows how we're going to start. It's going to start with Joe. He'll bang out some harp riff.
Is this sort of like a... Yeah, like you're communicating telepathically a little bit now with the way you're jamming on live?
Yeah. And it was actually interesting, the show that you came to on the Saturday, we went further. The start of Shiverman went way out there. And it was funny, I noticed Dallas had to rope it back in.
I wasn't sure if that was another song, like one of the newer songs. Yeah,
that's how we get away with playing Shiverman every time. Is just that there'll be some kind of interlude, some sort of intro that's who knows what it's going to be, but we kind of arrive at Shiverman. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, but on the Saturday show, it kind of went a bit out there. It was almost in the wrong key, I think, at one point, and then we had to quickly muscle it back into Shiverman.
And what you've got all the bass lines, all the drums, and everything up there on your MPC.
Yeah,
right?
I've got most of the.
You don't have to give away too many tricks, by the way.
Most of my sequence is all either 4 or 8 bar loops that have some have lots of layers, some a bit simpler, but I'll just on the fly drop in things out, like change the bass line. If it's more of a song, I'll have a verse bass line, I'll have a bridge bass line, and I'll have the main head, and we'll just cycle around on the 4 or the 8, and I'll make those changes at the right time. Mm-hmm. When we're jamming, often I'll lose the bass that I started with, and Ian will take over with his left hand.
So he's playing bass with his left hand
as well.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, and he's always triggering. Now he's got a step sequencer up there, so he can set off create a step sequence of a whole new bass line, and then let it run, and then go back to playing keys. And
right.
Yeah.
And because you had Ricky Gooch for a while playing drums.
Yeah.
Right? And did that? I was wondering about that, because I guess it sort of takes away a little bit of control from your part, doesn't it? Because you're
it was this one. There's a few reasons why it didn't work for me. It was because Ricky's not the first drummer we've tried. We've tried it on and off. I think we'd already kind of worked out that the drummer didn't really work for us, but Ricky's such a good drummer that we just thought we'll have another go. And I don't think you get the most out of a rhythm section if you're restricting them to a click. Mm-hmm. I never felt that having some guy who's good on drums as Rick having to play to a click, never made sense to me. And then if we went to, I wouldn't have had a problem going to a completely live rhythm section, but that would have involved too much rehearsal, and that would have added 2 more people to a bass player and a drummer to a band that's already 7 strong. And then as a business model, that might not stop. That might cease to work. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why. I think if anything, I'd actually quite like to have a percussionist on stage.
That's was one thing I thought that you...
Who was, not necessarily playing just standard, who was maybe had a hi-hat set up, also had, congas and...
Because there's a big tambourine loop, I think I remember as well.
Playing, all that stuff being live would be good. So...
just another person on the road.
Yeah, but we could probably have a session. We could probably have a session guy. There could be a session guy that doesn't have to take up a whole share of.
You got to think about these things.
Yeah.
But I think having all those drums that you've made blasting through the PA and just knowing that it's all super produced and tight.
Yeah, it's nice and tight, and we know we're going to get the same. We generally try and use the same PAs everywhere we play, and it's just And
there's enough human energy and going on with the horn section and with everybody
I think
else.
What you lose in the fact that you don't have a live rhythm section with some of the feels that you can change and do, what you miss out there, you gain in other areas, and that's where a lot of the improvisation is in the horns and the keys, because there's a confidence that they know that the beat's going to be there every time for them, and it's going to be fat for them every time, and they can just
exactly.
Just kind of
and I think for the audience as well, it just it becomes a rave sometimes. It's got that deep house.
Yeah, and
that's
the one thing you can't do with a live drum. I've never ever personally seen a show that's had produced the kind of excitement that I'd like to get from techno or house, good quality house music, with a live drummer.
Yeah.
Because they just can't. It's just not the same. It's just like 808 or a kick 909 kick drum. You can't reproduce that. So.
Yeah. Were you using triggers like drum samples on the drum kit when you would have a drummer, or?
No, I just would have a beat. Because Ricky's played a lot on our records. So I've got another drummer at the moment. I've been using. I've got a really good setup for recording drums at the moment, and.
So a lot of those drums on the records
all the drums are pretty much I've recorded.
Yeah. I was thinking that because the feel of a lot of it is just sounds like a human.
Yeah.
And the sound of it, but
there'll be what would it be a live loop of a drummer.
Yeah.
With a few different. I'll have probably 4 loops, a few variations, a simpler pattern, and then on top of that, there'll be some additional programming that kind of just sits in there and helps that beat along,
Yeah, it's sounding excellent.
Cool.
The show was incredible. We were we got a little bit stoned beforehand. I don't really smoke weed much anymore at all, but this feels like the right occasion. And sort of, we drifted off. We were there with you.
Yeah, nice.
That fucking horn section, man. Those guys are unreal.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're playing good.
I think just like does Toby do a lot of the arranging for the horns, or it's sort of between?
Yeah, I think it's he'll certainly drive it and make sure it gets done. Scott's a very able saxophone player, and he used to teach saxophone at the jazz school. And,
okay, right.
But he's up the road 4 hours, so it's Toby's. When we used to have another saxophone player, Warren Maxwell.
Yeah, I know Warren. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So after Warren left, Toby took it upon himself to be the kind of the horn leader, really.
Yeah. Okay. They're just his musical knowledge and just the detail of the chords in the horns just gives it this extra spunk that really kind of twists.
Yeah, no, all three of them went to jazz school, and like I said, Scott ended up teaching there. But so there's a good amount of background there to draw on.
There's such a jazz scene in Wellington, I remember even when I was living there, just watching all of those guys. It was the beginning of when you guys were all sort of starting. Yeah. We were just coming out of high school, and it was always quite incredible to watch.
Yeah.
When you hear that drum roll happening, that it's reaching the end of the podcast. I cut off the bit where I say, hey, thank you, Mu, and all that stuff, because it's... I don't know, sometimes it's a little boring, but maybe I'll leave it in next time. Anyway, thank you, Moon, so much. It was a real pleasure to have a good old chat with him. Wasn't that interesting? He's great. We've been a fan of his work for years. It's always nice to talk to another Kiwi. I don't really get that chance that often. There's not that many of us out there doing our thing on the global sort of touring circuit. Now, if you get a chance to see them live, do yourself a favor and get involved. I was really buzzing after this show. It just had that international level of badassery and spunk, and there is something about older musicians just at the top of their game killing it that really has a power and takes things to another level. Now check out their most recent record, Bays. I've also put a link in the podcast description to a few videos and things, but I put my own personal greatest hits of Fat Freddy's together, so there's a link to the Spotify playlist of that. Right on, I think that's it for episode 38. Hey, if you can, I've been terrible at this sort of thing, but do me a favor and give the podcast a review. I think it's pretty easy. Just follow the internet. It'll prompt you where to go. Give me as many stars as you want. You can call me a wanker. I'm not too fussed. It's all that like and subscribe business that I try and avoid because I just like to let people be. But hey, I got to do it at some point. So if you can, go and do that. Give me some stars, some 1-star reviews. I thought I'd leave it to the end of the podcast before sort of going on about this stuff to you guys. I hate it when you go onto YouTube and some silly tosser starts harping on about that within the first 20 seconds. Like and subscribe. Yeah, all right, mate. Wait, let me just see if you actually do know how to play Wonderwall on the acoustic before you start telling me to follow what you do, you twit. Anyway, enough of that. Thanks a bunch. Back again soon. Until then, take care. See you later.